Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Capricorn January 2024 Astrology Horoscope forecast. I'm calling the energy of this month for Capricorn the 13-month clean slate as we start out, right? With this new month, this new year, new moon in Capricorn, a new cycle of 13 months after coming away from clearing up a lot of karma in recent months. So we'll talk about all of this nice clean slate. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other placement of Cap that you're listening for. What we're going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Cap friend, so birthdays like January 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees of Cap and on, I suggest you additionally listen to my Aquarius report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Now, before I start the pretty slideshow for those of you who are watching on YouTube, I am going to flash the chart on the screen for those of you who want to follow along visually. If you take a screenshot of this picture, then you can summon it when I'm referring to different things in the chart, and you can benefit from the visual aspect without everyone else who wants to run screaming from the chart having to deal with it. So I'm trying it that way. I think I formatted it better so that you could see the chart, hopefully. And there it is. Okay, so, and if you're on the podcast, you can come and see the visual. Just search for Annie Botticelli on YouTube. And if you don't want my visual mischief, you can just find me anywhere and listen to me on, Spotify or wherever else, just to get the audio. Okay, so let's get into this. I am very excited about this month. I'm a little bit nervous about one of the aspects. We'll talk about that. Because I'm for all intents and purposes, I'm a Capricorn too. I'm not a Capricorn sun, but I have Cap Venus, Cap Moon. My house of Capricorn is full of stuff, and I'm very Saturnian, ruled by Saturn like you are. So whenever I'm doing the report for Capricorn, I'm also getting a glimpse into my particular picture. What we're going to talk about here is mostly really just Capricorn specific things, but I suggest to get a full picture of the month that you listen additionally to my January 2024 general report for all signs called Wolf Moon Mischief. And that will be linked in the notes underneath the video or podcast, and will be on playlists on my YouTube channel as well. So you'll get a more complete picture if you listen to this, what you're listening to now, and that general one, because I'm going to go into some things that are true for all signs in that report that I'm not going to cover as deeply here. Okay, Cappies, let's get going here. The first thing that I want to talk about is right from the beginning of the month, we have a ton of Sagittarius energy still. Now, if you know me, then you know I'm a Sagittarius. So I have a lot more Sag than I do Capricorn, and I have a ton of Cap. So I walk that line between, the kind of crazy, spiraling, expansive, loquacious, prolifically expressing energy of Sagittarius, and then the organized, hardworking, consistent, ambitious energy of Capricorn. And all of that is the embodiment of this month, okay? Because we are starting out the month with Venus, star goddess Ceres, Mercury, and Mars still in Sagittarius. And that is unusual, okay? Usually us Cap stuff starts dominating now, and we will have our chance to shine. But right here at the beginning of the month, we're still kind of in party mode. We're still kind of letting loose. We're still kind of, engaging in zealotry and excess and just, fun and freedom and learning and flow and all of that juicy stuff. So we really need that. Capricorns really need that. So I'm really happy about that for us, because before we really get down to business, we'll have an extended time of just relaxing, doing holiday things to the best we can while still holding everything and everybody up the way we do, right? And that's how the month starts. And then progressively as the month develops, Venus and Mercury and Mars and the sun, well, the sun is already there, will all be in Cap. And then we have the new moon in Capricorn. Okay, so this is Capricorn's time to shine. The things that make us Cappy are all happening now. Ambition, action, perseverance, persistence, getting down to business. So we'll be able to mop up in a couple of weeks the messes that we made in the previous time. So that's going to feel really good to get back to business. I know I always feel really good getting back to business, even though I love engaging in Sagittarius stuff. Something else important to know is, of course, it's birthday time. So happy birthday to my Capricorn Sun friends. Birthday time is a time when we get to dream big and ask for the things that we want rather than always trying to make wishes come true for everybody else. This is a time where you get to have your wishes. And if you're a Capricorn placement other than your sun, you may be wanting to make intentions at this time, that you intend to do things. New Year's intentions are very strongly supported, especially when the sun crosses over your Cap placement. So that's really exciting. So for birthdays, write your wishes down, say them out loud, feel them as if they've already come true. Something else that's really great about this Sag energy introducing this month is it gives us permission to dream big, and always for Caps, this energy is in our mind, okay? So a lot of times Capricorns have very vivid imaginations, even beyond, like would be surprising sometimes to the stoic sort of personalities that some Cappies have, a dry sense of humor, right? Where I know I've had a lot of Cappy friends that will surprise me and say something that seems completely contrary to how they present themselves, and I always love that. And this energy crowding, if you're looking at the chart, you see the circle that in the center that it's yellow, it has 1 through 12 listed. Those are the houses. Houses are fields of experience that we have as humans. And each of those pie pieces denotes a section of energetics of a shared human experience. It's a place where we all combine. We all go through similar things, no matter our culture, our location, our socioeconomic situation. We have a shared human experience, and the houses so beautifully show us this. And this 12th house is accentuated for Caps at this time. One of the things it does, because it's flooded with Sag energy, that's always happening because the Cap is on the ascendant in the Capricorn chart. Now, of course, if you're watching for, I'm just going to go in depth for a second. Those of you who are new to astrology, just ignore this and don't be scared. I'll stop being so deep here in a second. If you are watching, that's why I always say watch for your sun sign and your rising sign. This chart will look like your chart if you have a Capricorn rising. If you have a Capricorn sun, if you want to see the houses be lit up with the planets the way you notice it in your chart, you got to look at the chart for your rising sign. Now, that doesn't mean that this isn't relevant. This is a different chart. It's a solar chart, and it's true at the same time. Just like if you look out your front window, you may see a lake, and out your back window, you may see a highway. Similarly, the rising sign window and the sun window are glimpses into two different levels of your experience. So that's why when you watch the chart for your rising sign, it may be very different than your sun sign chart, but they're true at the same time, just like whatever you see out the different windows of your house are happening at the same time. Okay, so I just figured I'd give you that little tidbit there, because I know I have a lot of deep students, and not just newbies. So anyway, when Sag lights up the sky, it lights up Cappy's 12th house, which makes us get very imaginatory, basically activates our imagination in a huge way. We start to have big ideas about things, but sometimes it's hard to activate action on those things because we're too busy being practical. So this is a beautiful time, and it happens every year as the Sagittarius planets light up, where you kind of get a chance to be in the fantastical, to be in the magical, and to be a little bit away from the mundane. And if you accept that as, okay, this is what's going on right now, you can really have a great time and heal tremendously. And possibly some of these ethereal insights could work their way into practical solutions for things you've been working with. So this is just a time to kind of step beyond the practicality of the day-to-day experience, especially for a very responsible Capricorn. Then as the planets start to move into Capricorn, and that progresses as the month goes on, then we're getting back to business, we're getting organized, our first house of our physical body gets lit up, we get back into our bodies and out of our heads, things that we have to do for our physical body, health and that kind of thing. And also our redefinition, a rebirth. If you're a Cappy that has been focused on one area of life very strongly, you may be feeling the itch for a rebirth where you start to redefine yourself. Like I remember many years ago when I was a pharmaceutical rep, did not know anything about alternative, healing and medicine and astrology or anything like that. I was brought up, in a very practical, not ethereal based reality. Then I went through a time where I became known as a person in real estate. That was what I did to get out of my golden handcuffs of the corporation. Started a real estate business, which was very successful, was kind of my segue. And then at that time, I started studying health and healing and astrology. And I wanted to become known as an astrologer and a person who read energy and helped people with spiritual principles. But everybody thought of me as the person who does real estate, the person who did pharmaceuticals. I wanted to redefine that vision. So I moved to a spiritual town in the desert. And guess what? When I said I'm an astrologer, everyone said, yes, of course you are. And they have ever since, right? So this is a time where that vision for yourself, if it's different than it used to be or different, this may be a time where you're claiming, saying, hey, guess what? I know you saw me as a veterinarian, but I'm actually a painter, or, whatever different version of that can be, where you're redefining your physical space and the way that you walk in the world. It's a very exciting time of rebirth. And as we teeter-totter with Pluto hanging out in our sign for, if you ask me, entirely too long, right? Oh my God, especially if you have late degree Capricorn placements and you're getting blasted like I am. My moon is at 29 degrees of Cap, and I have just been seriously getting blown up in recent years. It's not been easy. But, we still have this teeter-tottering of transformation of our physical body, of our place in the material reality. And, it's just a very powerful, very, very powerful time. So until the fall or spring for you all down under of 2024, we've got this energy of Pluto dipping back and forth into our placement to finish what it started in 2008. And I know, even though a lot of wonderful things have happened in that time, I know I'll have a lot of Capricorn brothers and sisters telling the, Pluto to not let the door hit it with the good Lord split it on its way out, if you know what I mean. But in the meantime, we have access to basically a nuclear generator of transformation for our physical body and our identity and our image. So yeah, let's use that while it's here, since it's being a nuisance, right? Okay, so we've got, Venus will be in Cap, Mercury will be in Cap, Mars will be in Cap, the Sun is in Cap. January 11th, days around there, new moon at 20 degrees of Cap. This is a new beginning of this 13-year clean slate. Okay, so I've been talking about how the karmic clearing of the eclipses that we just went through are leaving us with a clean slate. There are more layers of clean slate. Jupiter waking up at the end of December is awakening our big dreams and projects that may have gone to sleep in September. Mercury going direct on the first of the month is waking up our smaller visions and our, plans and our just day-to-day. So this month is very much about waking up, and then boom, January 11th, new moon at 20 degrees of Capricorn. When we have a new moon in our sign, we start a new 13-month or 13 moon, essentially, cycle. And this is very exciting. So the feeling like we can start anew, that we can start with a clean slate, that ways that we've been or things that we've done can really just be behind us and we can let them, is very much the energy of this month. And not just because it's a new moon in our sign, but that is a big part of it. So all of us will get the goodies and the juiciness of this new beginning. Those of us who have placements near 20 degrees will use a 5-degree orb. So between 15 degrees and 25 degrees, the closer to 20 degrees, the more you get a kiss or notice, something from this moon. That basically is going to equate to about January 5th through 15th, the closer to around the 10th. The more you'll see notable things from this moon. And birthdays and degrees in either direction. It's always hard to give exact dates because the sun doesn't move into each sign on the same day every year. There are several days it can move in. So that toggles these dates that I give you by a few days in either direction, but I try to give you roundabout. Okay, so our new 13 moon cycle is beginning. Karma behind us. Our identity is opening up to do whatever we want to do and be whoever and however we want to be. Sagittarian energies are bringing our dreams to flight. And we have all this magic, and then bam, mischievous wolf moon, January 25th. I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail in this report because I do go into it in quite a bit of detail in that general report that I, told you to also listen to. So look for it in the links. It's called Wolf Moon Mischief. Look for it in the link underneath the podcast or video. It will be in the playlist at the end of the YouTube video, or you can search for Annie Botticelli, January 2024, Wolf Moon Mischief, and you will find it. So that happens in the days around the 25th. Full moon in Leo, next to Pluto, Chiron and Mars squaring at the same time, dangerous, explosive, hide under a rock issue is being warned, or warning is being issued. I very rarely issue the hide under a rock warning. I did it in October. Did not want to be right about that. October was terrible. We had a lot more factors going on in October that made it intense than we do at this moment, but it's intense. So if you feel not safe, know that, this energy is pretty nasty. So if you can kind of take cover in the days around before and after, I'd say at least 5 to 6 days before the 25th. Okay, so the 19th through the rest of the month, there's some energy of this stuff going on. Okay, so be extra careful. Now, as I tell you that, I basically trust your intuition. If you feel you're not supposed to go down that alley, do not. Risk-taking and recklessness, not a good idea at this time. But what it is a good idea to do is to crack out of a matrix that's limiting you. And so you may have to take a chance on being vulnerable. Capricorns do not like to be vulnerable emotionally. I know that with you, because even though my Sag side doesn't mind telling you that I'm suffering or I'm having a hard time, my Capricorn side does not want anybody to know that at all. So I get it. I've endured massive hardships that nobody has ever known anything about because of my Capricorn energy. So I do know that we tend to hold things back. But this may be a time where vulnerability, while it is terrible in the moment, can actually open you up to profound healing. Okay, you'll have to intuit your way through this, but just keep your wits about you to be extra safe at this time. And then do know that we do have some amazing aspects that follow that aspect. We've got between the 27th and 28th, we have 3 beautiful aspects. So I'm hoping that any conflict that comes from that hard, series of connections will open up into this awesomeness. Now, I'm not going to go into all the details of those aspects, but if you want a write-up of that, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in the welcome letter, go to the archives, and look for January 2024 astrology. I send that out early, so it will be there whenever you are listening to this. It will have been out already. And if it's not, it will be there soon. I'll be sending that out at the end of November. So, you can see my sweet and salty dates. You can see dates that I have that are really good for taking action this month. This is an amazing month for long-term actions. I have those dates and lots of other free goodies. You can also see my Secret Star Portal, where I deep dive into lots of exclusive content, including written horoscopes for each sign. My public written horoscopes have actually moved to the Secret Star Portal. You can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. And if you want to learn astrology, if you resonate with my energy and you want to learn, I can teach you. I've got over 100 modules and growing in my comprehensive Becoming a Professional Astrologer Mastery Course, all of which you can see at anniehelpsyou.com. So, it's a crazy month. It's an exciting month. It's a month all about Capricorns. I hope you have a wonderful month and new year, and I'll see you soon. Bye.